Good evening, everyone. If you are in Canada, if you are in North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, wherever you may be, thanks for joining. And today is going to be a jam packed show, lots to discuss, the World Cup to review. And in the building, we have my friend Duncan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, Julia. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We do have a few. There's a few people that are likely to come. So like we'll add them in as the stream goes. But yeah, like we'll get things started. Thanks for joining again, Duncan. I know it's been a while. I think last time we had you was I think after the Canada game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
The,
yeah. I think so.
okay,
After
okay, so
the was
it
that
was
the
the
South Africa game or the
yes,
Moroccan game?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
it was
Okay.
the
Riding.
one of the
Yeah.
two, one
Right.
of the
We're
two.
riding the high of the South Africa game. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So lots has happened. We won't have time to go through the whole tournament, but today's show would eventually revolve around the final, the World Cup final. So without further ado, let's talk about it. So what first thoughts, impressions? What do we think? What do we think? Like in here?
I mean, I think the better team won. It was Spain playing kind of their game, the game they've been playing the whole tournament. They dictated the play. It was a bit nerves and chaos, or not chaos, but a bit nervy at the beginning, but they settled into it. And I mean, the teams conceded one goal the entire tournament, coming up against like a really good attack with Argentina. And what was it? Their first shot at all, not even on goal at all, came in the 117th minute. So yeah, it I did not realize actually how good this Spanish team was. It felt like they played, I guess, the kind of a similar game that they've kind of like that's what's good, like their reputation, I guess, of just the best defense is never letting the opponent have the ball. Um, but they were not. What I liked was they were not. Previous Spanish teams, I think, have been accused of being a bit boring, or even teams that from like even sometimes like Pep Guardiola's Barcelona or even Man City about just passing it around and then not really doing anything with it until the very last. I know it was just 1-0, but they were actually, and throughout the tournament, I thought they were really good at actually being very controlled, but then incisive and electric in those moments. And so it wasn't just control for the sake of it. It was not just, control as a defense first. I thought they really, like, in some ways, almost not really in the maybe, I don't know, maybe not the tactics, but it made me think of that. And I can't remember which, I think it was a Euro, right? Where I think it was Spain too, where they demolished Italy like 4-0 a few tournaments ago.
Yes.
Scoreline was not the same, but it still felt like, past probably the first quarter of the game, you never really thought that Argentina was going to get back into it. You always thought that, okay, well, they've been able to turn it around late game, heroics, Messi might be able to just make something out of nothing. And there was kind of like, it almost felt like it might kick off, but then Spain would just smother it and keep hold of the ball and just they scored late. It was 0-0 after 90. They took the full extra time to be able to score, but it's one of those things where it never really felt like it was in doubt. And even Argentina, for all the talent they had, felt like they were playing for penalties. So it was very. I quite enjoyed it because I was cheering for Spain as well, so I enjoyed the outcome too. But yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was like maturity versus like chaos or just hearts. I've seen written like play with your heart versus playing with your head, for Argentina and Spain respectively. Um, and yeah, I was. It was a good final. There was a bit like I know the well, whatever this Argentina was developing a bit of a reputation throughout the whole tournament. It was I think the right call that they got that Enzo got sent off. Right, I mean it. I don't
Yes,
really get
yes,
how
yes,
I
yes.
can't remember the player actually tackled, but how he managed to do a full rotation from the tackle.
Escobar's
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, and then once they went off, that was kind of it. Spain was
What
already
a
doing
yeah.
it, but now down to 10 men. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, with the red cards chasing the game like they had been doing all game, and
Yeah.
this was before extra time kicked in. Seeing them potentially go into extra time, which they did with 30 minutes with one man down,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're getting
it just
gassed. They were getting yeah, and it's tough. Like when you are the team chasing the ball, you run like you're working
you run
hard
more. You run more. They ran
then.
they ran almost
Yeah.
22 kilometers more. It was 108 kilometers
Huh.
ran by Spain versus 130.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's incredible, actually. And
A
I mean,
lot.
credit to Argentina because they were still running pretty much right till the end.
I was gonna say they pretty much ran. They created their only chances, like you said, came in after 100 minutes.
Yeah.
Their like when they started press the gas pedal, and this was a team like I've been saying where they played 2 extra time games during the knockout stages, right? Like against
Yeah.
Switzerland, against
Yeah.
Cape Verde. So and the team, I know eventual substitutions came in, but there was a team with lots of mileage.
Yes.
They're still
Yeah.
pumping. So I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think it was spot on. My question is, you said you were surprised with Spain, so that I think a lot of people were. Thankfully, in this channel because everything is recorded. That's why the title of this episode is "Nobody Believed Me," because every time I brought this up in real life, when I say real
Yeah.
life, is with whether it was work, group chat, and our soccer team.
Yes.
But if you guys don't know, Duncan actually plays for our soccer team on Tuesday. He's an incredible midfielder. What's your profile? What's your player profile? You're like
Well, funny. Like I used to be a lot more like the attacking midfielder or the winger. I am
Yes.
still a bit, but I'm not as young as I used to be. So I am. I do try to focus a lot more on like keeping the ball and the control side of it,
Yes.
and a little more defensive because I can't bomb up and down the wing.
Yes. Yeah. I think because trying to pick because you're a Liverpool fan, I'm trying to pick. I think maybe earlier in back in the days, you were probably more like a Dirk Kuyt.
Oh sure,
More
yeah.
direct forward, creative, can still do the center midfield position if need be, but
Yeah.
stick to the wing, forward positions.
Mhm.
Now you're slowly solidifying yourself as a very reliable James Milner. That's
Yes,
how
right, right.
so, anyways, small tangents.
Yeah.
But so going back to the game, Spain, in my opinion, epitomized their identity in this final. What we saw was what they had shown, not just during the knockout stages, not just during the group stage, but in the previous tournament too. It was a team that has an identity. The identity is around a ball possession, but ball possession with intent. It's not tiki-taka, horseshoe, valley of death, or just passing with hoping that the other team loses concentration. No, like they'll chase positions. They'll score very few goals in some games, but they will create opportunities. And I think the final was evident of that. Although clear-cut chances, I'm not too sure. A lot of the shots came in. I mean, Emiliano made tons of saves, but a lot of them were kind of to the goalie, right?
Yes.
I think it's more on the deficit of like Spanish teams don't have midfielders that can shoot anymore. Like they've had that problem. They had that problem in the previous tournament. The profiles again. I know Rodri can sometimes hit one, but like that was not really his role in this tournament.
No.
And then
No.
Pedri, Fabian Ruiz, they don't shoot from up front, so from outside. So even if they're crashing the box, they don't provide that. So
Yeah.
and then, but defensively, I think that's what people why a lot of people got caught off guard is, um, if they lose the ball, they'll get that ball back, and it's not going to take them too long. And every player, it's difficult to put into words without dashboards and the footage, but it's so fast. You can see it, they make it so easy for them to
Mhm.
press and get that ball back because
Yeah, they
players are
swarm them.
always
Yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah,
very well drilled, very like they coach this, they definitely train this,
yeah,
right? And the idea is it's okay to lose the ball, but we're gonna get that ball back. High starts up front with the press and moves all the way to defense. Um, and if you dominate games where you keep the ball, you actually create chances. You move the ball progressively, and then you don't look out of place defensively. Like you're gonna win games. You're gonna win tournaments. And perhaps people were they were disrespected. Perhaps the thought was, oh, this French team, they're gonna blitz through the Spanish team in the semis because all the firepower, and like we saw it in the semis, we saw in the final, it didn't matter who they faced. Um,
yeah.
it
And
didn't,
actually, that contrast with France, I think, really illustrates why, in my opinion, they won, because France was a team of like absolute superstars, right? They like on paper easily the best team in the whole tournament, but compared with Spain, who were and like it's incredible how well coached and and I think it's more than it feels like it's more than just the national team coach, although incredible job that what's his name, De La Fuentes, uh,
De La Fuente, yeah.
yeah, has done. But it's almost like it's the whole like all these Spanish teams, like it's like every new player that comes in slots into that very well, and that's like football development in your country. And that is the difference between, like we've talked about it even in our league, the team that we often play, that is often just a bunch of like super old dudes, but are very good, not because any of them is individually skilled or blows anybody away, but they are so well drilled as a unit. And
Yes,
that
yeah.
even and I think even in the national team, I mean, Spain is no, like they are a bunch of incredibly talented players, but they don't have necessarily, like, I guess Lamine Yamal is like their superstar player, but
No, I know what you mean, but after that, it kind of
it's
evens
like
out.
everyone's kind of at that like next level of quality. No big
Yes,
superstar diva type of aura players that you might refer to them as, like,
yes, yes,
and
yes,
and that like they nullified France completely when they played
completely.
them. It like, I mean, I was cheering for France because I like that team, and I was frustrated because they came out and just, it was kind of embarrassing. They totally nullified the attack, and that's because every player on that field knew exactly what to do when they had the ball, when they lost the ball, in transition, in defense. It was, it was pretty incredible to watch them play.
Yes, yes. And another thing that was very in common between the France game, the Argentina game, um, Portugal, they pretty much did it to themselves. Belgium probably gave them the best run for the money. Every team that Spain played, they made that team look bad. And it's I don't think and even if that team came with deficiencies, drawbacks, like I don't think it's a coincidence they consistently make the opposition look worse because they nullify whatever best players they have, they nullify that. They always look better, and every individual player on one-on-one battles, defensively progressing, they always look better than the opposing player that's around them.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it comes down to coaching. And what you said, I think is very important and very understated. What we see is a result of football um, football academies, yeah, academies working on players and developing players from a technique perspective and philosophy perspective.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Barca Academy or other academies in Spain, and they're all at the same level. They all have the same fundamentals, right? And like we've always said, like you can have individual brilliance, you can have the rough tactics from Argentina, but more often than not, good footballers and good teams will win you tournaments. And like without a shadow of a doubt, the best team ever. For on Argentina though, because this is a team that had won the last World Cup. It's a team that along the way had won two Copa Americas, right? Like this is their fourth final in 4 years. Believe it, like it's crazy.
Wow.
Um, did the coach shit the bed? Like I have a hard time understanding because clearly the tactics were completely wrong. If unless they wanted to go to penalties, which is a good point, um, but like it just completely like incapable of doing anything. So what was the plan? Was the plan to just sit back and hope for? What was the plan? Was there a plan? Like I don't. I'm still confused. Still
Yeah,
confused.
hard to say because like throughout the tournament, it seemed like Argentina they it's one of those like spirit or belief, right? Like they never really thought that they were going to lose, right? Even when they went like 2-0 down to Egypt, right? And they just knuckled down and played as hard as they could and got something.
Yeah, in the last 15 minutes, we were like, okay, guys, let's close up shop here.
Yeah, and that sort of play, like if your team collectively believes that, and they also have some very talented players, and Messi is just, I mean, it's like a bit again, like there's a certain level of respect that most other teams give him. Just probably, I mean, it's well deserved, but it works in his favor too. But like they just never really, you never felt that they thought they were going to lose, or that they thought that it is always in our hands. We always have that ability to win. And that honestly, with I think with most national teams, with the amount of time that a coach has to spend with the team, I think a lot of that value that the coach brings is the ability, whether it already exists or whether they have to instill it, to instill that sort of like belief in that team, like
Yes.
never say die attitude. Because I don't believe there's a whole lot of room for tactics, or at least certainly not some of the more like complex tactics that you might see in
Yeah,
in
and then the
right? Like
APL.
it's a big debate, you know, why Trent Alexander-Arnold never gets picked for England, because you need such a complicated setup, and most of the time they're doing stuff a lot more basic and letting the star players shine. And I think that's a lot of what Argentina has done. They've been there many times before. The team that Scaloni picked was a lot of the veterans as well, and so they're all the players that was just. I think the instruction was like, hey guys, you know what to do. Go out there and you know you can win the game and make it happen. Now, obviously, it's probably a little more complex than that, but I also don't think that there's a whole like it just there's not enough time, and all these players are coming from different clubs and may play different styles. You just have to instill that belief, have some relatively simple, at least for their level, simple tactics to execute on, and then deliver on it. And the rest is like, you know, you've seen some. I mean, I saw a Liverpool fan, the older or previous assistant coach Pep Linders. There was a bit
Oh
when
yes.
he was doing his book tour, which I think coincided with a massive drop in form from the team. But anyways, one of his things, which I quite liked, was it wasn't really talking about tactics a whole lot as it was talking about managing the emotion and the momentum of the game. And at that level, everybody there knows the fundamentals. And it's just making sure that and the stress level, the stakes are going to be higher than for most players they've ever felt, because not only is it a big high stakes game, it's the weight of your country.
Yeah, there's
And
an emotional component.
and managing that emotional component becomes super important, and the ability of that team to kind of galvanize when it's, you know, when the chips are down is often the difference maker in a team like, or in a situation like that, when often at those later stages you're more like overall average quality is a lot more even. Like you're not getting your Canada versus Morocco or you know, Spain versus Saudi Arabia or whatever games. Like they are, most of the teams can play more or less equal. And you know, if a team like Spain and France say there is a club team with those same players. Over the course of the season, France will probably win it because the quality will shine through on average. But
Yes. Yes.
in those individual games, that ability to manage that game becomes much more important. And I think that was why Argentina is so successful. It's just Spain is almost like a borderline anomaly with that sort of belief, but also that just well drilled coaching, which is saying like I think is just a product of their like the development of the football pyramid or whatever they call it in Spain, the different academies, all developing in the same direction. And like that doesn't happen by accident. I don't know who or what is responsible, Spanish FA or whatnot, but they've done an amazing job to make it so that anybody that comes in can slot in.
And they kept the coach that was training the I think it was the under 21s, 23s. De La Fuente was promoted from within the Spanish ranks. It's like so he's coached one or two teams, but other than that, it's pretty much been Spain teams.
Yeah.
So
for a lot.
You bring up a good point. Like, and I think it's become more and more apparent. Teams either have very good individual quality or they have some form of system tactics, but they lack the players to get them over the finish, like, in important games.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the past, I wouldn't even say recent, but I think more in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, even late 2000s. I remember, for example, the 2010 final, Spain-Netherlands, two teams with very good players on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
The Dutch team, I think, they had Van Persie, Kuyt that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Van Bommel, Schneider.
Look
at De Jong was they had profiles. De Jong was basically your Paredes. If people think Paredes and De Paul in this Argentinian team is evil, they never saw at De Jong perform. Go and watch those games.
Yeah, they talk about the South American dark arts, but like not unique to South America.
Yes, but like Argentina made it famous in the last few years, but like that team had lots of dogs in there. But they play good football, and the Spanish team was probably it was pretty much Barca V2, like, but like David Villa, like if you compare pound for pound every player versus the one we have today, it was a better team with better players.
That's right.
They just played slightly different, but they were still around the same identity, and like I feel teams at the time had a little bit of both. That's just one example, but like you can go to the 98s, 2000, 2002, 2006, even all the way to 2008 maybe. And you could find good quality, good formations, good tactics, and also excellent players, especially elite of the elite crop, like creme de la creme. That crop is slowly diminishing. We're being seen less and less. So either teams come in with like a good tactic setup or good players, and Spain is still that odd exception in there. So I'm gonna welcome Michael here talking. I'll remove here. Michael, your debut. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. For having me on.
Big clap here.
How's it going?
This is Duncan here. We're doing good. Glad to have you. My bad, because I sent a link to Eric and I just realized eventually you were in a different chat. So sorry for the delay. We were just talking about the World Cup final. So we went through the game and just talked about like overall quality of the play. But I don't want to repeat myself. But I wanted to get your thoughts. I assume you watched the final. There's other things to discuss, but in terms of the final, what's your take? What do you think?
Boring final, honestly. Like Argentina not getting a shot off until extra time. That's pretty disgraceful for the defending champs.
17th minute, right? That was
I mean, credit to Spain. Their midfield is so good. They just control games. I mean, did we ever really have a doubt that Spain was going to pull it off? Not really. Argentina does have a bit of magic about them, though, throughout the whole tournament. And, they can get the job done when they need to. They had a lot of calls go their way throughout the whole tournament, too. I think that kind of helped them. But, it was a bit of a boring final. I'm glad Spain won. I think most of the footballing community was glad that Spain won as well.
Football.
The footballing community, I love Messi too. I think it's a shame that he had to go down like that. But in general, I'm very happy Argentina lost.
It's very hard to like them.
It is. It is. I mean, like you can tell I'm an England fan, and their second goal when they're screaming in Pickford's face, I'm like, it's just classless. Getting into fights with the Spanish team after the game too, classless.
Showing the back when they're lifting the trophy too.
Yeah, exactly. It's
sore losers.
I'm glad they lost.
Yeah.
Yes. and for because we'll talk about England. If England had beaten Argentina and they were in the final against Spain, would England have won?
They would have got a shot on target. I don't know if they'd win, but
would they have set up so conservatively? And what I don't even call it conservative. I don't know what Scaloni was set up in there. Like the whole no shots for 90 minutes, nothing on the final third. They couldn't even get out of their half. If would England, I'm struggling to believe England would have set up with Tuchel that defensively. I think they would have given a better run for the money.
It's hard to say. I mean, like in the Argentina game, we saw the Southgate 3-piece suit come out once England scored, and they're playing Southgate ball again, and it's like why did we bring this guy in? We wanted him to take risks and be brave,
be different.
So it's hard to say. You would like to think. I remember, I think it was the Croatia game. England's up 3-2. There's an opportunity to park the bus, but he brings on more attackers and they go on and get the job done. So there was a bit of that excitement about the England team. It's tough to say without actually seeing it. The defensive setup against Argentina was surprising to me. I thought the park the bus days were behind us, but
at the 60th minute too, they were bringing on defenders with a 1-goal lead against the reigning champions.
Yeah, crazy to me. And Messi loves space, and that's where he creates things. And when you're playing a compact, back six essentially, you're going to afford this guy so much space. So yeah, I think I think England would have won? Probably not. It might have been like a repeat of the Euro finals, like a 2-1 or something like that. I mean, being a delusional England fan, there's
because England lost that final.
Yes, yeah.
Against Spain.
But hey, they got a goal. There was some attacking in it too. So
it was a better final than this one for sure.
Yeah, I think it would have been more exciting for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. I do want to pick your brain on England, but to wrap up the final, I'm not even going to mention actually, there was a few things I want to ask. So Rodri was picked player of the tournament. Do you think that's fair? Like, I'll start with you, Duncan.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I think with Rodri, there's a lot of what he does. At least for me, you kind of gotta watch it again to see. We're one of those like where you hear, hey, if you're in the stadium, you can see some of the players and the influence they have on the. Like I've heard that about Jordan Henderson, for example, back when he was more than just a mascot on the.
You really had to throw a Liverpool player in this.
Any opportunity I have, I will.
Broke his hand. Didn't even need to be in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for Liverpool, not for England. But and how players can dictate the play or break up the play maybe more.
Sure.
So, I mean, I didn't. I was maybe a bit surprised to see it. I guess it makes sense. You pick a player from the winning team. I'm not against it. I felt like, man, I gotta watch some of those games again to see like what he, how he influenced the game or what he did, because he wasn't necessarily flashy like some of the attackers, obviously. But I mean, you don't get like he's the player known for breaking up the attacks, being that linchpin in the midfield, and Spain's entire game was about controlling the play. So, it kind of stands to reason, just logically, that he must have been a central figure in that. So, yeah, I mean, no complaints. Just I don't necessarily have a strong opinion one way or the other. I think on this one.
What about you, Michael?
Hey, Jude.
We can run agendas. We can run agendas. This is a safe space.
I know. Clearly unbiased towards England. And Jude, I mean, he had a hell of a tournament. Rodri, I wasn't upset with it going to Rodri too. I mean, they won. I think that guy's an absolute beast in the midfield and like controls games. You could see it in Argentina. You could see it in the France game. Like he controlled it, bossed it. And like to Duncan's earlier point, like he's not flashy. He gets the job done. He's like, an old reliable player. And to come back from that injury too and have the tournament that he had, credit to him. I still think, Jude should have got it, but, had England made it to the final, maybe he would have.
Yeah, I think there's just the winner's bias, right? Because
yeah,
Bellingham was magic. He was the guy that the ball goes to him, and you think he will make something happen by himself. So, but you typically don't get those awards unless you actually make it to the final. Yeah.
I agree he's important to the team. I don't buy the whole he carried Spain or he dominated Spain. Spain dominated those games because of the unit, like of everybody doing their job.
Yeah.
I do agree when it came down to progressing the ball and them getting up the field. Rodri is that elite best player in defensive position that can carry the ball, start breaking passes, determine whether he needs to hold, pass it back. In terms of tempo, I agree with that, but that doesn't come down to one player only. And I'm sorry, 0 goals, 0 assists. I need that individual contribution to not just from you were the pass before the pass. This is not hockey assists. I need to make sure that when the game is done and you won the game, it came down to you or a moment that you created. And I saw at least 3 other players, including Jude, in this tournament that did that more than once, more than twice in games that got them to wherever they got, right? So
yeah, it almost seemed like not symbolic, but Spain in there, like it wasn't necessarily one player standing out. The whole team had the control. He's in the midfield. He's the captain. You give him the award. Maybe.
I think it's recency or winning team bias aspect where they had the players in there. Kubarsi got the young player of the tournament. I don't think it means much, but he did have a good tournament. But I think had you given it to Messi, had you given it to Mbappe, had you given it to Jude, or even to Haaland, given the number of goals they scored and how those individual players led to they were crucial in those games that got them further in the tournament.
Yeah, you got to score goals to win games. So.
Yeah, so I think it's more sentimental. I find this award sentimental. I'm not gonna complain too much. Like he's a great player, the best defensive midfielder we've seen probably since Busquets, Xabi Alonso days, maybe. Like I can't think of too many defensive players, all of those Spanish players. But you know what I mean? I can't think of just too many players that either revolutionize or really dictate how good of a player you can be in that position, right? So just want to get your thoughts. I think we're not convinced, but I do like the segue. But yeah, we'll put it like this for now. You're in the bottom, but it can be like this. I think we leave. I don't know what the visual is the best, but the semifinal, England Argentina. I know Michael. We didn't get a chance to talk. I did the analysis with Daniel. This looks too crowded. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like this. Sorry about that.
No, that's not good.
I think Duncan already mentioned a few things. I know you were talking about Southgate ball. So I think we all thought, Tuchel is going to be different, and it appears that it ended up being all the same shit all over again.
Yeah.
So do you think that loss, it was down to Tuchel? Was it down to the players? A mix of both? What stopped England from getting it to the final? Yeah, what pretty much stopped them?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. obviously when you're taking attackers off for defenders, it gives the players that mindset. We're defending, we're parking the bus. But even before the subs came on, you could see the players starting to sit back. I saw a clip on like Instagram of Tuchel like screaming, push up, and I think like I yelled at the TV like press so many times throughout that game. Like there was a moment in the second half we had our back six and then like three sitting in front of it. The ball barely gets to the halfway line and the guys are sitting back, and I'm like, why don't you at least press till half? Like you don't have to get out of position and stretch the play and create that space, but you need to close down that defensive space in your own zone. Like it was just mind-blowing to me. But I think the majority of the blame is on Tuchel. At the end of the day, he's the coach. He made those subs. We hired him exactly for playing brave football and getting away from Southgate's knocking on the door. Like I was having flashbacks to Italy, in Euro. I was at the Euros, I think, the 1-0. England was up and then Italy comes back and wins it. Like it was like the same thing. It felt like a repeat of that, so very frustrating game. And it was England's game to lose. I thought they had a really good first half. Gordon scored. They had good momentum. And then park the bus, invite the pressure. Messi does what he does.
Do you think? Sorry, switching to you, Duncan. Go for it. Go for it. I have a few follow-ups.
I think whether he was instructed to or just the way, like I think Harry Kane really was a problem player in that phase at like the last third of the game.
Totally agree.
Like his sort of bit, he's a striker, but he's very good at sort of, quasi midfielder. I don't know if he was instructed to play like that or if that was just him just doing his thing, but he's the striker, he's the center forward, and they're all pinned back defending, and the ball goes out, and there's no outlet because Harry Kane is like in between the two center backs trying to like help defend or help pass the ball around or something.
Well, and not only that, like Harry Kane's getting up there in age. He's a yard behind the pace even at the last tournament, and when you're playing that type of game, you need someone quick and pacey to close down those spaces and not file into the back six. Like why put a defender on then? If Harry Kane's playing in defense, put a defender on. But I'm like, why isn't like an Ollie Watkins or Tony coming on earlier who have fresh legs, who are younger, who can press, and that are quicker? Like
keep the defenders honest, someone quick that can either chase those lost causes and push them back, or a big, strong center forward that could at least hold the ball and bring his team. I'm not sure England really have anybody like in that second profile.
Like a target man, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily believe what I'm about to say, but if I'm going to give Tuchel the huge benefit of the doubt, maybe he saw the England team coming back like that, thought, well, I can't take Harry Kane off, which, I mean, that would be ultimately his problem because you've got to make tough decisions like that. But maybe he thought they're already playing defensive, so I got to start bringing on defenders and try to hold out. It's a bit, like I said, I don't necessarily endorse that opinion, but just trying to kind of make sense of what was going through his head and why he decided to sub on another defender. The 60th minute against the team that is stacked in attacking options, that won the tournament last time. How do you they felt like they were? What was the team they played before? It was a decent team, but
they played. You mean Argentina? They played Switzerland before.
No. England's quarterfinal game.
Norway.
Norway.
Norway. Yeah. even before that, I think when they were playing, was it Congo? Anyways, like the basically worst team.
Yeah. I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something.
Like, holding off, and like fair play, they did it. I mean, Dan Burn comes out, and I love him because he's just so quintessentially like English and like the older era of like England players. But like in fair play, that worked. But this is Argentina. And it's longer. It's a longer stretch of the game. It was just unbelievably risky to think that gambit could pull off. So either he believed it is, in deep in his heart that the England players didn't believe they could do it, needed to shore up the defense, and that was the only thing he could do. Or he just thought, well, that worked the last time, I'm going to try it again. And honestly, I think both of those are bad decisions. You have to. It's one. If you were gonna lose, but you like really went for it, and you're on the front foot, and you got caught in the counter or whatnot, losing to Argentina, it's still going to be incredibly disappointing. But at least you went down fighting. But this just felt like they went out with a limper, and eventually just got rolled over by a better Argentinian team.
Yeah. That was the hardest part to think about it. It was, like I said before, it was our game to win, England's game to win. They invited the pressure. They sat back, heads dropped when the first goal went in. Yeah. It was done, and it's the thing. It's the story that we've seen time and time again with England. Yeah. They try to sit back. Well, like when the pressure is off, they perform well. Like look at the France game. Pressure is off, they're banging in goals. I would much rather concede 4 and score 6 in a game like that than sit back and defend a 1-goal lead. Like they're as a fan too.
It's better to watch. You feel better about it. England has
I would like to challenge that. First challenge is if Tuchel had not gone defensively, we can talk about the timing of the changes, but had he not gone defensively and kept going on the front foot and kept England either balanced or even, go for the jugular and like try to kill off the game. Had he gone that way and England had lost, would we be talking about how Tuchel did not change and defend that lead? That's my first question. I know it's hypotheticals. But yeah.
I think if they lost, they would be eviscerated in the media for every wrong decision they made, no matter what.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, media. Yep.
So I think it's like it's choose. Do you want to? Yeah. I think yes, absolutely. The talk instead would be how England was naive and they thought, and instead of trying to play conservatively, they went for it and then they got embarrassed. I still think that might have felt better. Like they've got most of the players are quite young. It would have felt better even just looking forward that, okay, yeah, they lost. Yeah, they were naive, but they played without fear. Right? It would have
been different. It would have been different than from previous tournaments, right?
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Michael?
No, I totally agree. Like the English media is the English media. They're awful. But what we're kind of seeing in, like the last 10 years are like streaming and podcasting, and, Gary Neville has his podcast and
the overlap.
It's a lot. It's a lot more, I guess, they're not looking for like the sensationalized headlines and the drama and the negative and stuff like, and I grew up watching, when Beckham missed that penalty and people were like hanging effigies of him from trees and shit like that. I would like to think these former players that are now pundits too, I've seen them appreciate like going down bravely and playing football. And I think in this day and age, they have a louder voice than tabloids too, like just the run of the mill media and whatever. So yeah, I think, the general, like the tabloid side of the media would have crucified England for losing, whether it's parking the bus or going after it. But I think the general sort of consensus from the fan base and pundits to former players. I think they would have appreciated that, especially, the last decade of Southgate ball and playing this like really boring, conservative, park the bus, nick a goal, that kind of football. Like, no, like us as fans, okay, yeah, they win a game, but it's like some of the worst football I've watched was under Southgate. I mean, shout out to Southgate. He got us pretty far in tournaments too. And
Yes.
pre Southgate, England was in a bit of turmoil. Kind of in between Ericsson and Southgate, it was some dark years. But
yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
But that said, I fans want to see goals. They want to see big plays. They don't want to see like a compact formation sitting back and just wearing teams down. It's not, no one cares for that. So I think me as a fan, if they went after it and they lost, you know what, they tried. Argentina would have been the better team in that case. We didn't beat ourselves in that game.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'd even compare it, even in club football, to like the later era of Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, where they would try to play good football and then still lose or still coming fourth, compared to Arteta's Arsenal, where they're playing this really negative anti-football, and it just seems like the rest of everybody bands together to cheer against them.
Yeah,
they hate to see that, and so if you were going to lose either way, you'd probably pick the one that is a little more entertaining to watch.
Go out with a bang, man.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, then I agree. Though they would have crucified either way. Regardless of the change in the timing, 85 minutes, they're still 1-0 up. At the 85th minute. And by the way, I'm saying this because I had a talk. We had the analysis. I had analysis with Daniel. I changed Daniel's mind. I'm not here to change yours. I'm just asking questions here. 85th minutes, 1-0 up in a semifinal. If I look at the timing, Tuchel made a bunch of changes. I know Declan Rice came out for O'Reilly. O'Reilly can play midfield. Bellingham is still on the field. Bellingham is supposed to be the heart of the team in the middle. Pace and power, right? There's defensive substitutions. 85th minute with these changes. Couldn't this English team has just closed up shop? For just, I know it's 5 plus 8 or 5 plus whatever. It was going to be at least 10 more minutes. I know you have Messi on the other side, but it's Messi or bust. I think we can all agree on that, with the fuckeries that the midfielders do and the Argentinian players do and their antics. You have 5 more minutes. So my second question is, could the players have just been able to close up shop? And the reason why I ask, Southgate, the last, what he was 10 years, 12 years? I forget. I lose count. It felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
That English team had some of those players played for those teams, and they were around that squad. The English team was very well known for sitting back, whether it's back 5, back 3, and closing up shop. It was kind of in their DNA to some extent. So I'm just saying, 5-7 more minutes. Could they have done it? That's my question.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not trying to defend Tuchel. I'm just stating.
No, of course. This is like what I was saying before, where it's also on the players. It's not just all on Tuchel. Like I'm gonna put most of the blame on Tuchel, but it is all also on the players. I think they were hoping for another magical night at the Azteca, like to repeat that.
Yes.
Up shop, Dan Burn comes on like a superstar, and they just defend with their hearts, and that didn't happen. Sometimes you can say, "Oh, that's football," but I really think like the difference is you have the world's best player playing against you, and you're affording them space. You're not closing them down. Like I said earlier, too, it's
you got it.
We've got this back 6, and then the 3 sitting in front, and and like a one floater. They're not closing them down or anything. Like look at all, and the short corners, man. How many short corners do they have to take before someone clues in? and closes Messi down. Like every corner they took, it was a short corner.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they were like, it felt like they were like scared, right? Defending scared rather than we gotta shut up or close up shop. Like there wasn't. Yeah, it just felt like that nervousness was percolating through the team, and also like defending, sure, great, packing bodies behind the ball, great, but like this picture is a great illustration.
Yes,
Leave Messi like that. Like that's not strategy or tactic. That's not defending. That's just
this mentality. I think this is mentality. It's
to like, just like hope the ball bounces off of somebody on the way to the goal. And that, like, if you wanted to really shut up shop, that's when they had to start playing physical. That's when they had to start doing tactical fouls to get in like the players like Messi's face. Stop treating him with all of this respect.
Respect,
like, not that in the. Actually, I think it was earlier in this game. Elliot Anderson, big challenge on Messi, and it was a statement very early in the game where the attitude was like, "I don't care who you are, I'm going to clean through you, no matter like." And yeah, it caused a little bit of a fuss, but he stood up to it. But that attitude just disappeared in that last, in the dying, dying minutes, in the dying last third of the game. Where it just seemed like they weren't, try us. We're like, we're parking the bus. You can't get through. It was the, oh my goodness, everybody, all hands on deck, defend. We're like, and hope and pray that we can make it through. It just didn't feel like there was any confidence in that defending. It felt very reactionary. And then, you let the best player in the world with that much space that many times, eventually something's going to happen.
Kobbie Mainoo didn't give a single minute.
Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me
started. But I'll ask you, because if you don't want to, that's fine. Like, I want to get your insight. There's a lot of talk about they should have taken Cole Palmer. They should have taken Phil Foden, both players who had terrible seasons. Like, if it's on merits, the squad seemed like it, but I felt Kobbie Mainoo in terms of profile and the quality he could have brought in. Would it have mattered? That's like my question to you. Because given Tuchel's changes and the way he did them out, whether he brought in an additional midfielder or not, maybe it wouldn't have worked out. Like, could there have been at least one player in there that could have changed everything?
It's tough to say. Mainoo didn't get a single minute all tournament. Pre World Cup, I think Mainoo would have made a difference, 100%. You could tell Rice is playing through an injury. Like, this guy is getting injected with God knows what before every game. And he did look off it. He tons of heart for that guy to like battle through that pain. And I didn't think he had a terrible game against Argentina. But I think we put Rice also on this pedestal. Like, he's a good player. I don't think he's like a world-class player, especially in controversial take. Maybe that might be
speak
tough on Rice. I think the guy's a baller, but he like doesn't really do it for me. I think he needs a good midfield around him, and like, we had one of the best midfields in the tournament on paper with Jude, Anderson, and Rice. And I don't think Rice really, like, maybe that was his injury, but like, even in the Premier League season, I didn't think Rice was like outstanding. Like, he didn't have one good set piece delivery, in my opinion, pretty much the whole tournament. Like, his corners were awful just because he had a couple nice free kicks against Real Madrid. He's the set piece guy. So Mainoo, I think what he offers is he can dribble well, he can move through players, he can move the ball quick too. And I think that is what our midfield was lacking. I think, Anderson does a really good job of breaking up the play. And
he was very good.
He could be a really good sitting midfielder. Something that I think Rice also does very well. But do you need both of them on the pitch, especially when Rice is fighting off an injury? Put Mainoo in for 10 minutes in a couple of the games beforehand. Let him get used to it, some minutes in the legs, and then you bring him on in a game like the Argentina game. That would make sense to me. I'm a United fan, so maybe my United bias is coming through a little bit more. Don't get me started on the Harry Maguire stuff either, and taking John Stones. But hey,
this is getting so spicy.
but yeah, man, I think Tuchel made a mistake by not playing Manuel all tournament. Like, if we go back to the Euros before, that guy,
the best English player,
18 best English player. He had like over 300 minutes in the tournament, completely balled out. And then he's only had more experience and have more skills over the past couple years, only for him to warm the bench. Like, I don't blame him for saying I'm injured against France in that game.
Yeah, because you feel disrespected, right? Like
yeah, stay fit for the Man U season coming up. Like,
yeah, I agree. I also agree with the snub. I think taking John Stones instead of Maguire, even though I'm not a big fan of Maguire, he's shown he can deliver for England. Margins bet, had Maguire been there for those last 10 minutes, I think from what I saw him playing for England in previous tournaments, I thought he would have brought in a little bit of leadership and a little bit of organization, and a little bit of like firepower, like in terms of like mentality. Like, even though I'm not a big fan of him, I think from what he's shown. So
yeah, he's one of the guys that's kind of gone through the worst and come out stronger. And
yes, he always looks good for England. Always looks good for England. So
and he had a hell of a season with United last year too. Like, De Ligt was injured most of the year. Harry Maguire stepped in. Like, just such a good aerial presence too. Like, any ball, he was like Dan Burn against Mexico, but for the whole season last year. So, you mentioned dropping Foden, Palmer, because they had bad seasons at their club level, and picking the team based on merit. Well, like, it's like, why is John Stones in that team? Like,
I know, that's why it's so hard to understand. Yes.
So a couple of
Henderson,
like and Henderson. Oh man, like, how is? I totally forgot about Hendo, man. Like, how is this fucking guy getting minutes over Mainu? Like,
there is something that Henderson does. I don't know what, behind the scenes, because it's been like multiple coaches he's been brought on. He never plays. He had that one cameo in the one game in the tournament.
And then he broke his wrist.
He broke his wrist celebrating. He got a yellow card, broke his wrist, all from the bench. Like, he's clearly not there to play. He's there for some sort of inspirational or leadership role behind the scenes. It's like, fair play. That stuff is valuable.
It was like, give him a coaching.
I wonder why take a spot on the.
I was gonna say, give him a job at the coaching staff. Morgan Gibbs-White didn't even get a sniff. Like, there's at least 3 or 4 other players I can think of that could have done something.
Totally agree.
Because Henderson was not going to play because Declan Rice was playing with the flu, like you said, sick, and he still would have not played Henderson if Henderson was healthy. So I understand, like, the be present and all that bullshit, but, like, I'm sorry, this team showed that I don't think Henderson would have changed anything on the field, and off the field is just nostalgic at that point. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, not today's Henderson. Maybe 5 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah,
on a good note, though, Jets fans.
Baller.
Wow.
I did not rate him before this tournament at all, and I was so. And that may have been it, to be fair, because I hadn't seen him, like, honestly play that much. He plays for Tottenham. It's kind of,
yeah. Well, who watches Tottenham anyways?
Yeah, but he was I mean, outside of Bellingham and the Stars, he was a standout player.
Yeah, definitely for England, one of my players of the tournament. I mean, like, it was one of the first plays of the game, and he's nutmegging Argentine players and, like, running down the wing. It's like,
disgusting.
Holy shit! And then that tackle too, like that.
Oh yeah, monumental.
God damn.
Simeone, I think. Yeah.
It was Simeone, and because he posted like 4 pictures after the game.
That's a career tackle that they won. But best players for England, probably be one of these two or a toss up.
Yeah, I think Jude, and then slightly under him Kane. Kane the last couple of games didn't really move the needle for me too
It's bad.
much. He was a bit of a ghost in Norway. Don't even get me started in the Argentina game.
I didn't see him on the field, so there's nothing to talk about.
He was just taking up space. I think I kind of understand trying to leave him on. Like, look at the Congo game. He has 2 insane goals when England needs it. Like, that's the kind of shit that Kane can do. But you could tell, man, like the way the game was going in Argentina, you need someone with pace. Like, as soon as we took Gordon off, we lost our pressing ability.
Yeah.
But I think overall, Kane had a pretty good year.
Okay. And since we're at it, real quick here, I'm not gonna do we could do a combined live, but it's gonna take way too long. I just pulled here. I think I got it from Instagram on the FIFA account. They posted fans' choices for team of the tournament. I think like probably the obvious ones here would be anybody here you think should not be here.
I can't argue with that, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, go for it.
For the goalkeeper, I haven't seen all of. I mean, that feels like a bit sentimental, but the one game I did actually like watch of Cable Verde, I can't remember who they're playing. He was immense, so it's can't really argue with that.
I think just the story alone, you got to put him in the.
Yes, I think there's a lot of PR, fantastic games too, but there was just so much media attention. It's hard to snub out. I think from what I saw, and also looking at the goalies, this goalie I knew a little bit from the Portuguese league, but there's a few goalies I didn't know of. I was very impressed with the goalie for Paraguay, Gil. Not only is a great shot stopper, he's massive. I think he's almost 7 feet, and he's great with his feet. I think he would be very good for a bunch of teams in Europe, including the Premier League, especially given how teams play these days. Right back, Porro. I would have probably put the whole Spanish defense in here, but like the Argentinian center backs were pretty good. Pomecano, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with the rest, especially individual contributions. Bellingham for England. There's a few interesting stats, records that I saw so Jude and Kane scoring 6 goals each, first time ever. Two players in the same team do it, so that was pretty impressive. Olise beat the record assist in the tournament with 7. I know there's an extra game or whatever, but 7 assists is still very good. Haaland, holy shit! Like what a performance for
Beast.
him. And then and then Ronaldo scored in 6 editions. Well, who cares? Okay, yeah. So I just wanted to ask you guys. It doesn't seem like too unfair, given what we saw. I don't know. I liked Spence so much on the left back. I don't think Cucurella, I think, as part of the team was great, but individually, like I thought Jet Spence, like other than Cucurella, I thought he could have earned that left position because he didn't play all games, all minutes, right? But every time he came in, it was like, holy crap, crap,
changed the game.
Holy crap! I forgot to ask, but if Trent was in the one more for you, Michael, if Trent was in the squad, would it have made a difference?
I would have taken him. I think, with Reece James and his fitness history, their injury history, I should say, you're rolling the dice on that. And who else really do we have as a true right back? You got to take Trent, man. I know he gets a lot of people on his back about, he doesn't defend well. I don't think anyone can argue his dead ball capabilities and his passing abilities. But I think he's still like pretty solid at defending too. And you've got some great center backs that can help out in a great defensive midfield that can help out too. So I think leaving Trent at home, it did bite him a little bit. I think we were mostly playing Konza on the right side too.
Yeah.
Wasn't in. And I'm like, he's a good center back, but when you're putting a center back as a fullback, you're losing that ability to go forward and the ability on the ball as well. So Yeah, I think again another mistake. It's Tuchel's first year though. I'm trying to give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. I think he wanted to make a statement with the team selection and say, this is the team I believe in, not the star player or star power, the big names. And that's what he went with. I think it's bitten him in the ass a little bit in some respects. But third place, best finish I think since '66.
66. Yep.
If it wasn't for the second half of that Argentina game, I think he would have had a.
That's why I'm saying they just had 7 more minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll on to you, Duncan. Do you Tuchel first tournament with England? I saw reactive, especially the English media, a lot of the online big channels, just saying sack the guy, especially English fans. I think we're a little bit less biased, but yeah, I know Michael, you support England. Do you think Tuchel deserves? Because he did, he reverted to Southgate 2.0. So does he deserve to at least take England to in the Euros and see what he has?
Yeah, I think sacking him would be a bit too reactionary. Again, major poor calls and poor game management against Argentina, but the rest of the tournament they felt like favorites. They felt like the big team. They felt like the team full of star players. So I thought he did a good job. I think there's a bit of whether it was him or the players, but that game against France did sort of that end the tournament on a bit of a mini high.
On a high note.
Well, to come back from that too. So Tuchel can be a bit of a polarizing figure because he's so passionate. I mean, after the I think the Norway game, maybe it was the Mexico game, where he said in an interview that I actually thought the team played poorly or something like that.
It was against the Norway.
It had to be.
He wasn't happy.
English journalist was the one that like keyed into that and then said it to Jude Bellingham and say, "Oh, your coach said you played like shit. So what do you think about that?" Guys, stop sabotaging your own team.
Yeah, typical English media.
Yeah. I found that incident pretty interesting because yes, they didn't play great and they got over the line because of individual brilliance / mentality.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of backfire, especially English channels and English media saying you should keep that in closed doors. And I thought, no, you're holding your team accountable and you're making sure the whole world knows it. If that's the driver towards a mentality change. So
I disagree. I think especially in a setting like that, it's a World Cup, half of this stuff is just momentum on emotion. You say that behind closed doors, but you talk about, maybe you don't praise how good the quality was, but you phrase it like, hey, they had grit and they ground out a win.
Just focus on the mentality then.
But I think, and also he's not new to a big high profile coaching job. He's not even new to England.
No, he's going
to get picked up on, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
I thought that felt like a bit of a. I mean, it's like you may be right, but not the right time to say that.
I just think I think that's the key. It's the mentality. I think the whole world overrates this English team. Like as a whole, I think a lot of the team players are overrated. When I say overrated, I don't mean they're bad players. I'm just saying they're not as good as people think they are. And anytime this team and these players face a good opponent, they get fucked or they get found out, right? So I think a mentality needs to change, whether it's the media, whether it's the players, the coaching, even the way maybe they think of how to put teams together, to focus more than just mentality. Because mentality against a good team that is tactically disciplined and has very good players, if not better players than yours, you're going to lose 99 out of 100 times.
Totally agree. So, yeah, totally agree. English fans are delusional. England is like the Arsenal of national football.
Oh yeah, good analogy.
I mean, they won eventually, but it's they can't. Yeah, and I think that's what Tuchel was hitting on, was like, you can't win games on mentality alone all the time. Should he have said that behind closed doors and not created all this noise to the media? I don't know, maybe. But like, they were lucky against Norway. They were lucky against Congo. Ghana was one of the worst games I've ever watched.
Oh, that was bad.
Ghana,
So-
like, they had a game plan, they stuck with it. Super athletic team, and like tactically very well drilled. And like, they could have nicked a goal against England too. So I think, England's path wasn't like they were blowing teams out of the water. Okay, they dominated Panama. You could argue they dominated Croatia for the most part too. Mexico, hell of a game. God was on England's side that game pretty much. Other than that, it's struggle through the whole tournament, and like, individual brilliance that gets them by, and a bit of grit too. And they need more than that. Like, look at Spain.
Spain showed it, yeah.
So technically good. They don't put a foot wrong the whole tournament. Like, one goal conceded, that's insane, man.
Crazy.
So yeah, I agree. Like, I think they need a mentality shift or something. And they are overrated. England is an overrated team. Yeah, there's ballers, but what have they done to prove that they deserve that third spot, really? Or fourth spot? They're ranked fourth, aren't they?
Or fourth. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Question for you guys. When I saw this stat, it made me chuckle, because usually you see top 5, top 10, and somehow they just wanted to squeeze in Ronaldo's 11th in there. So my question is, for 2030, can Ronaldo score 10 goals? That's like my question. First question. Is that possible?
No.
Okay.
He was struggling.
Okay.
Bro.
On a more serious note, Mbappe and Messi already, best World Cup scores. Like, this is insane. Like, I mean, the more tournaments you play and the more games in each tournament, I understand, but still fucking impressive. Mbappe probably has one more World Cup. Will we see Messi again in 2030?
What is he, 39 now? 38, 39?
Yeah, he'll be 43.
Sports science has come a long way.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to rule himself out until the very end.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's like retired 3 times or something from Argentina too. So I don't know. You never know. I would just hate to have like a Ronaldo Portugal situation where like the player power overtakes the team. And I think we kind of saw that with this tournament. Like, on paper, Portugal had like one of the best midfields. And, they didn't really like move the needle. And I think they were trying to like, Ronaldo shouldn't be starting games. Like, maybe throw him on with 20 minutes left, or like, a specialized sort of utility player or something.
Man, I was in such a good mood. Why do you have to ruin my mood?
I'm sorry, bro. I'm a United fan. I wore number 7 all the time growing up. I'm a big Ronaldo fan. But I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Like, I think he's got too much power in that team. And like, the players know it. It feels like there's this weird vibe with the Portuguese team too.
It was very apparent in this tournament. It was very apparent.
He got some nice goals in Toronto though, didn't he? I think he got a volley or something against Croatia.
Penalty.
Oh yeah, penalty. Sorry.
Penalty, and he was subbed off for the guy that scored the winning goal. So unfortunately, for his first knockout goal in a World Cup, which is great, unless you don't call count penalties. But yeah, nothing outstanding.
Messi has won it now, and so with Ronaldo, it does feel like he's just still trying to prove something, and perhaps Messi, you would think there's nothing left to prove, but also when you're at that level, you can't just shut off that competitive drive. So he feels like he thinks his body can do it. He's probably gonna.
I think it's going to be down to physique and whether he can hold on, because he's under contract with Miami, right? So like, he has to play games. Can he still play? I mean, he was one of the best players in this tournament. By the way, he had 9 successful dribbles against England. in that England game. Like
he did not look like a 39-year-old.
What
man.
the? Yeah. So
I know.
like it's just he's an alien. Like it's not real. It's a cheat code. Like the cheat codes used to get back in the anyways. I wouldn't rule it out, but at the same time, physique wise, I don't know if he can handle one more, even if it's a bench player. But then it's like I don't know. And also depends on the coach because Scaloni has his favorites, like, and he's built something around Messi. If a new coach is brought in, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to, but at the same time, the next World Cup is going to happen Portugal, Spain, Morocco. So I see Ronaldo kind of squeezing in, and then the first game is in Argentina, Uruguay, I think, because of the 100-year anniversary. So symbolically, and from FIFA marketing perspective, I see a lot of money involved pushing for those two guys to play one more time, the last dance. They shouldn't be. But what about Kane? Do we think that Kane can still play in the next World Cup?
I'd say Euros. He'll play in a
Euros,
couple years, I would say. Even Euros in 2024, like Kane looked past his prime. I think he's had a bit of a rebirth with Bayern, like insane numbers that he's put up, like Ballon d'Or contender, hands down. And I think he had a good tournament for England this year too. But you know, can he hold on another 4 more years? Like, what is he, 34-ish, 33 maybe?
33, I think.
33.
He could. I'd say Euros for sure. I don't know about World Cup though.
Oh, 32. Sorry, 32.
32. Okay. I mean,
he turned 30. Yeah, he
36?
July 28th. July 28th. His birthday is soon. So yeah, 33 in a week.
I mean, like he's never really been like an overly athletic type of like quick, pacey player, physically dominant. You know, he's like a fox in the box, like poacher type of player, and maybe that's easier on his body for longevity. And like to your earlier point about you know, Messi and Ronaldo and playing, like Ronaldo has that explosive sort of play style where you need that athleticism and your body just can't keep up. Messi, yeah, he has that, but he has this like just this IQ that's out of this world that doesn't really leave, you know, the older you get. So I don't know. It would be cool to see Kane, but not if it's at the detriment to the team.
Yeah, at some point you're a roadblock to the next generation, right? I keep hanging on. So,
and what about Ballon d'Or? Because the World Cup usually carries a lot of weights. Like the last World Cup, the Argentina won, Messi won the world. Yeah, I think that was the year that Haaland had broken all the records, but Messi still snubbed the Ballon d'Or. For this year, is there a clear-cut front runner? Like you mentioned, Kane. Kane is not a bad shout. Is there anybody else there? Because based on the World Cup, I can't see anybody else really.
I know. That's the thing. Like I'm sure people are going to put Messi up there now. He had a hell of a tournament.
Sure. Even Mbappe was top goal scorer in like the Spanish league, top goal scorer in the World Cup, top goal scorer in everything, and won fuck all. But he still was the best goal scoring striker, right?
It's tough because they put a lot of weight on silverware too for the Ballon d'Or. So I don't know. It could be anyone this year. I think Kane is definitely in the running. I think Mbappe and Messi are probably my 3 picks.
Any
of those 3, Duncan? Do you think? Probably agree, right?
Yeah, no, I do. I was thinking like, you know, because Champions League winners, PSG, Dembele won it last year, and he also didn't have a great tournament, the World Cup. It'd be a bit weird. Like he shouldn't win it. The other, like Olise, it had a good tournament, but if you're picking someone from Bayern, you're gonna pick Kane. So it's a tough one, and you know what? Part of me thinks that Messi's just gonna win it because it's Messi and he had an incredible tournament, and that.
But that would just prove that it's really the World Cup that's driving the award.
I mean, an MLS player actually win it. Yeah, so I mean, I think probably Harry Kane deserves it for his.
Maybe MLS is not that bad.
Let's not get carried away here.
I can't even believe I just said something I don't believe in. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to start up the pot.
Yeah, I
forgot
mean,
about
I would think if I would think
Holy
Harry
shit.
Kane is going to get it. I just for some reason don't think he's going to get it because I don't know, maybe he's English or something. But
Sorry, I forgot about the comments all this time. And yo, Michael, we have so many fans of yours. Like it's crazy. Look at all of this. Just so much love and R-rated comments. I'm loving it. So many comments. So many comments. Sorry guys, like we have 2 viewers now. I completely lost track of the comments. We didn't talk about Netherlands. I guess real quick here. Was Netherlands underwhelming, or did they perform kind of where we expect them to be? Like, just is it?
I don't know. It's underwhelming if you ask me. Like I didn't think they were going to go deep necessarily, but they have good players too.
Yeah.
It's and I don't know. I really like the Dutch team. Always have. Big Ruud van Nistelrooy fan growing up. Edwin van der Sar. And they always have a bit of magic about the team too. So it was disappointing, I think. Calling Koeman a football terrorist, though, it's pretty interesting take.
Well, he's. I think it's the whole sentiment about coaches not fully utilizing teams and squads with offensive players, and they tend to be more pragmatic. That's why he got fired from Barca, because they're not having any of it.
yeah, like the Dutch team was I remember vividly that game against
yeah, that was
and how they were just second they lose, like it was pure counterattack. They would go back into their like not 4-4-2, but like all the players in this sort of grid shifting as Morocco sort of played the ball around, and then as soon as they got it, they punt the ball up to Brian Brobby and Somerville would then sprint past him and he'd try to knock it onto him and do that. And I was thinking, wow, hey, super identity, I guess. I don't know if their players seem like they're better than these type of tactics, but I was also thinking if they beat Morocco and then Canada plays them, that exact style of play is going to destroy Canada because their center backs were already pretty weak against like long balls over the top. But I don't know the Dutch team maybe well enough, but I just thought the tactics were a bit like playing as if they're a level below them. Like they've got a very talented squad.
Yeah, I agree. They need someone more brave. But they did make the semis in the Euros, right? I think they lost to Spain. Spain in the semis.
Spain.
So yeah, but I agree. I think just too passive. Like we just want more forward-thinking games. This was Wayne? Is that Wayne Rooney for Waza? I think that is. I think it's the Wayne Rooney reference.
What's that? Sorry, I missed that. Oh, Waza.
I think that's Wayne Rooney reference. I saw. I don't get Fox. I just saw that on social media. But when they asked him about the halftime show, I think he just called it garbage, and the commentator was not expecting the honesty, and I was like, dude, it's just
proper Scouser, man.
Just exactly. I'm like, dude, like, why did we have to have Muppets? I understand the rest, like Madonna, whatever, but the Muppets, like, I don't. Maybe it's just me. Last comments here. Portugal played the best against Spain besides compared to. I think Belgium played better than Portugal. I think probably Belgium was the team that gave Spain the biggest trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after that, Portugal, even with their limitations and their fuckeries, like they still, I think, it was a bad game, but they still showed something, at least something, to dismantle Spain. Even we hit the crossbar, I think, in one. So yeah, we had a few chances in the 90 minutes. So I agree. And apologies again. Like I usually keep track of comments. We had so much love today, so that was great. We're at like 1 hour and a half. It's a work day or a weekday. But like any last that was pretty much what I had. If there's anything else you guys want to touch on, the World Cup or soccer in general. Like we'll have more shows as the summer goes on. But anything else you guys want to touch on?
Do you do like streams for league, like club football?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So I started the channel like this summer. But like the reason why I started it was because there's always something to talk about throughout the year, and I have group chats and so much time spent talking to people. And I realized, no, let's just get something going. So
Cool.
I do plan to have throughout the season, primarily for the Premier League, like mostly for the Premier League. But like if there's Champions League reviews, all sorts of stuff, the schedule to be decided. But I do plan to have this moving forward. Just have to figure out the cadence. So Man United fan, like we have Syed as well. Duncan is a Liverpool fan. Like the more the merrier. Like there's lots to discuss. I have lots of thoughts on Man United, and I would love to hear more about yours. So yeah, we'll have plenty. So if you're down, like we can have you on for sure.
I even know a Spurs fan I can bring on too.
Oh, by all means, I'm looking forward to the Spurs season because they're moving like a serious club, unlike other clubs in North London. Unlike other clubs in North London, Spurs is moving very serious, and they're capitalizing on players that they're willing to sign, as opposed to like Morgan Rogers. Anyways.
Yeah, crazy off season, crazy transfer window they've had.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know where the money's coming from. Maybe the money was there all along. Like who knows? We need the intel. We need the deets. We need the details. Okay. Well, anyways, this is fantastic. Michael, again, great debut. Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, likewise.
This was awesome. Duncan, thanks for coming. And yeah, we'll stay in touch. On your way out, anybody who's tuning in, thanks for support. Thanks for all the comments. I apologize for not looking at them earlier. If you appreciate and you like our content, please like and subscribe on your way out. I think I got all the script right this time. And until then, peace.
Cheers.